You can't make this up, Browns fans. We somehow lost on our bye week. Welcome in. I'm your host, Joey O'Donohue. I'm going to tell you some bad news for the Cleveland Browns that's going to impact them going forward. We also have some major Deshaun Watson updates and news to talk about. The Cleveland Browns have a decision to make. They're evaluating him on the bye week. So lots to look out for here on today's show, Cleveland Browns fans. But first, we're pushing for a big milestone this November. Help us hit 60,000 subscribers, guys. We're over 57K now. Everybody that's a part of this family is so awesome. We appreciate you all, and just having this community of Browns fans to either celebrate or suffer the Browns seasons with makes it all that much easier. Appreciate you all. Hit that subscribe button and join the party. All right, folks, so you didn't think it was possible. We thought we would get a nice day of rest. And then all of a sudden, I'm going to show you how the Cleveland Browns lost. Well, first of all, the Baltimore Ravens smoked the Miami Dolphins on Thursday Night Football. Lamar Jackson is back and healthy, and he threw 4 touchdowns in that game. Derrick Henry also ran for over 100 yards. They picked off Tua and shut down the Dolphins' offense. And so the Ravens seem like they might catch a stride now, which is bad for the Browns. Lamar Jackson's healthy. And how did this impact the AFC North standings? Folks, we did not play a game this Sunday, and we moved down to dead last. We were ahead of the Ravens. And now they win another game, and they have the tiebreaker over us. Not only do they jump past last, they're up to second now. Then the Bengals, Steelers also ahead of us as well. We didn't play, and we moved down. Folks, you can't make this up. The Pittsburgh Steelers went into play Indianapolis, a team that came in at 7-1, and the Steelers got a dub? Are you kidding me? With old-ass Aaron Rodgers, they beat one of the best records in football, and so now the Steelers have extended their AFC North lead, and the Ravens have jumped to second. It's going to be hard for the Cleveland Browns to catch both of them now to make a playoff push, all while we are still behind the Cincinnati Bengals, who we are 0-1 against this season, folks. I mean, it's the worst results we could have gotten to have the Steelers and Ravens win while we can't play, and the Steelers beat a good team. So state of things, folks, but you know the drill. F the Steelers. Whenever they win, just spam F in the comments, because F them. Man, we hate those Pittsburgh squealers. All right, the one potential bright spot is that the only AFC North team that didn't win was the Cincinnati Bengals. They lost a ridiculous shootout against the Bears. We were covering that game on Chat Sports main channel, and my goodness, Chicago pulled it away, 47-42. Those Bengals take an L. We can still pass the Bengals with ease. The problem is just going to be catching Pittsburgh and Baltimore now in the back half of the season, if it's possible. Some stats and insight on Joe Flacco's time with the Bengals, though. He is the first player to have 200-plus passing yards and 2+ passing touchdowns in each of his first 4 starts with the team since Joe Flacco, the 2023 Browns, when he was leading us to the playoffs. It was electric. But, of course, he's balling out with Cincinnati now and has more touchdowns in 4 games played than all Cleveland quarterbacks have combined in 8 games this season, folks. We have a lot to talk about in terms of quarterbacks not developing in the Cleveland Browns system. Joe Flacco sort of adding some evidence to that. But other quarterback news is the Browns have a decision to make on Deshaun Watson while they're here in the bye week in NFL Week 9. There's a lot that goes into this, ladies and gentlemen. If Deshaun Watson is medically cleared, and we were told that they will evaluate him during this bye week in Week 9, well, Cleveland could open up the 21-day practice window, meaning Deshaun, once he practices, has 21 days to be activated to the roster. At that point, Cleveland can activate him, or if they decide he's not ready when the 21-day window is up, they would place him on season-ending IR. There's also a slight chance he could be activated and then just simply not played. But we're going to talk about the possibility of Watson actually playing this season. But this is where we're at. We'll see if they give us some news on his status in the bye week. Former Browns legend Josh Cribbs actually weighed in on Deshaun Watson, and He said this: I believe that Deshaun Watson, in all of his faults, will put up more passing yards and throw down the field more than 4 yards on average, taking a shot at Dylan Gabriel's yards per attempt. And he's got a slight point about how conservative we've been. I don't know if he's right about Watson being any better. We'll get into that. But Dylan Gabriel's numbers this season, folks, I mean, we're talking some of the worst among all starting quarterbacks. That includes his PFF passing grade. That includes his yards per attempt, which is just 4.9. The worst part of that is his completion percentage is 4th worst in the NFL. You don't take shots, but you're still inefficient. He's tied 7th in turnover-worthy plays and also dead last in average completed air yards. We average 3.2 yards per completion, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm totally on that train that Gabriel has not been good. But do not forget what we saw from Deshaun Watson during his tenure with the Cleveland Browns. I mean, he's never played a full season for us. He's had 2 season-ending injuries. And last season, it was dreadful. A quarterback rating of 21? Does it get that bad? 3 interceptions to 5 touchdowns, and then, I mean, it's just been interception after interception every year. Quarterback ratings are all awful. So do not forget what we saw when Deshaun Watson played with the Cleveland Browns, folks. It looked awful. And obviously both quarterbacks have looked bad this season as well. There's some problems with the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson wants to play, though. There is no doubt about that. He is still tweeting and acting like he's going to make a comeback. He really thinks he can. He's fighting to get out there. In fact, on social media, Deshaun Watson went out and said, everyone is doubting me. Everyone don't believe in me. Everyone don't think I can get back to where I was. But I know, and I believe the work that I put in, that I believe in myself. I know I'm going to be way better than before. And Watson posted on his Instagram just about a week ago, him running around and throwing, him working out. His legs look good. He's running and throwing. It's a scary sight, folks. It's like he's telling us he's going to be back. Yeah, I got Browns fans that don't even want to say his name because of what we saw from him last season and how it is just a deal that is robbing the Cleveland Browns, one of the worst decisions, one of the worst contracts in sports. Credit Jimmy Haslam for making that trade. Kevin Stefanski also weighed in recently and said he's doing a great job of rehabbing. I mean, obviously he's not going to go out and say, yeah, we're not thinking about Deshaun, but he's saying that Deshaun looked awesome, also one of his words, and that he's doing a good job. So Browns fans, we have to talk about this. Is Deshaun Watson going to be in play to start this season once again? Is it possible that Deshaun Watson returns, especially with how bad Dylan Gabriel has looked and how we've already traded Joe Flacco? We're just waiting to see Shedeur Sanders play, but would Watson be in play before we get to that point? I'm going to talk about that coming up very shortly here on the show, but first, I do want to tell you that this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. The hard-hitting football action is even better with PrizePicks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on PrizePicks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Football is in full swing now on Sundays. All is right with the world, and I'm big into daily fantasy with PrizePicks. I'm obsessed with it because it makes all the games more entertaining. And before the Browns play, I lock in on all my players in my lineup and their player projections. PrizePicks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. PrizePicks also offers injury reboots. If one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, PrizePicks won't count it as a loss. That's basically what happened to me in my lineup because C.J. Stroud was injured, so that pick was voided. But unfortunately, Bryce Young is terrible and couldn't throw more than half a passing touchdown, even though the Panthers beat the Packers. So that was a shocker. I had something cooking there. Josh Allen, I do expect to have more than 1.5 passing touchdowns against the Chiefs. He's already got 1. So that's an example of a lineup you can make, but if you want to try and make some money and do that, you have to download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it is good to be right. Browns fans, let me remind everybody that is freaking out about Deshaun Watson potentially being in play, let me just flash back for a second. Jimmy Haslam, the owner, literally called trading for him a swing and a miss. He said that publicly. He's also referenced the Deshaun Watson trade multiple times when he spoke with Diana Rossini recently. He said Kevin Stefanski's had a lot of bad cards, including the Watson trade. He referenced that deal. And so if your owner's going out and saying that publicly about a quarterback, well, you wouldn't have an inkling that you expect the quarterback to play. The other reality of the situation, though, is Deshaun Watson was never benched. The only reason he's not playing is because he's hurt. He would have continued to play in 2024. He was putting up awful numbers. We were screaming bench him, and the Browns did not listen. So you have to factor that into this equation as well, that Cleveland is only not playing him because he's hurt. We've never seen them bench Deshaun Watson. Now, I do think this would be a little bit different because of, like I said, the owners come out and called it a swing and a miss. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I think it's unlikely. But it's not out of the question, Browns fans. And I know nobody wants to talk about it to this point. But he's on the roster. He's making millions, $200 million guaranteed. Are we just going to have him sit there and do nothing if he's healthy? Again, I think it's unlikely this season that we see him. But it's not out of the question. I also do not expect his practice window to be opened at this point. I do not think it will happen during the Week 9 bye. Stefanski has confirmed we are looking at Dylan Gabriel starting against the Jets in Week 10. We expect Shedeur Sanders to start a couple weeks towards the back half of the season. And so where would Watson factor into that equation? What scenario would you actually start Deshaun? If they do that and just don't play Shedeur at all, I think that's ridiculous. I think you don't evaluate the other rookie quarterback you drafted and you go into the draft, probably drafting another rookie quarterback? Makes no sense. Unless Watson wins games for the Browns, which has rarely been the case, I don't expect them to turn to him. Predict it for me, Browns fans. Will Deshaun Watson play this season? Type Y for yes if you think we're going to see number 4 back out there. Type N for no if you think no way, no how. The owner said it's a big swing and a miss. Like I said, it's in question. I understand the speculation. I understand that there's a chance that it will happen. I don't think it's now. I don't think it's anytime soon and not during this bye week. But they said they will evaluate him and see if he's medically cleared like I showed you earlier on the show. Type the Y for yes or the N for no in the comments section, Browns fans. I want to know where you're at. Folks, thank you so much for watching this edition of the Browns Report. I missed you guys today on Sunday. Didn't get to have a watch party on the Browns channel. We'll be back next week to play the Jets, though, and I'll be live for you guys. So, also got a fresh haircut, if anybody noticed. It was about time. Going over to X, follow me at Joey070. Also, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Like I said, we're trying to hit 60K in November. I know we can do it. We got the best fans in the league. Browns fans, faithful, are the greatest. Hit that sub button. It's free. I'm here for you guys every single day, and we appreciate you all tuning in to the Browns Report.